Good morning, all.
Good morning, morning. Taking attendance is always fun, Brad. You
That's
know.
not bad with 35 people in a room, right?
Yeah. And telephone numbers.
There's a lot of logistics behind the scenes, that's for sure.
Yep. But I don't have any chat questions to worry about right now. Andrew, how are you? Cool. You can tell everybody's more comfortable with Zoom and virtual meetings now. They wait to the last minute to get on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Glenn, you look like a pilot.
These are special glasses for computer glare. Supposed to reduce migraines.
I'm very familiar with them, unfortunately.
Migraines?
Yes. So when Steve gets on, just make sure he doesn't get confused, you know. He might think he's at a meeting at the airport.
Yes, of course. Where is he? Still taking attendance, everybody.
Okay, let's see.
Steve.
Good morning, Michael. Good morning, everyone. How we doing?
Good. Still taking attendance, though.
9:31. Happy July, everyone.
29 people. Holy moly.
So the protocol is to mute until you want to speak. Raise your hand, right?
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Come on.
So you probably have a quorum.
We're getting there. Let me just go with what I have so far. Jamie, Chris Warren. Vincent Marco.
Let's see.
Brad.
Okay. Participants. Centered.
$31. I missed the field. Okay, we just reached a quorum, but let me go through the list I have, the attendance list I have, and if at the end of the list, if you don't hear your name, please chime in. So right now on my list, I have Randy Milano, Brad Burge, Chris Wallen, Joe Seaman Graves, Andrew Krishik, Peter Comenzo, John Scavo, Jamie O'Neill, Andrew Kohout, Adam Yagowski, sorry, Adam. Mark Constiglione, Jim Markle, Ross Farrell, Bob Rice, Greg Wickshire, Steve Iacetta, Tim Wainwright. I also have Fred Mastriani, Melissa Stanley, and Dahlia Sarowitz. I think I have Ron Schaefer. Ron, was that you and Ron? That was Ron? Oh, hold on.
Hey, Michael, can you hear me? Steve Feeney?
Yep. Okay, Steve, thanks. Ron is muted. Steve. Anybody else I not get? Who is at telephone number 518-419-7873? Anyone?
Unmute.
Mike Francini, this is Joe Semino. That's not my number, but I'm on the line as well, or I'm on the call as well.
Okay, Joe, thanks.
What was that number, Mike? Say it again.
518-419-7873.
Mystery guest.
And it's muted. Not by me.
I know Jeff Pangburn was trying to get on. They were going to watch it on the the video, but they were having difficulties, so they might have joined Zoom, but I don't know.
Okay. Steve, we have a quorum. Chris, how did you do? Chris Bauer, you were taking attendance also. How did you do on the list?
I think we have the same list.
Okay.
I'm just going through all of them now. And yeah, I think we have the same list. And I'll try to keep track of anybody who comes on after.
Okay. Steve Iacetta, I think we're fine. We do have a quorum. So if you want to get started.
Thank you, Michael. All right, we're ready to commence as of 9:35 this day, Wednesday, July 1st. Happy July, everyone. Hope everyone is well and your families as well. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for this important planning committee meeting of the CDTC. It's my introduction. With the roll call, Mike, we don't want to do any more self-introductions, right? At the end, we'll do a status of planning activities. Everyone will have a good chance to network and describe their current status of any significant projects and transportation related events at that time. For protocol, we know that it's best to remain muted until you want to raise your hand and speak. I have a list of the presenters for today's meeting. So that's my brief introduction. Please remain muted and then unmute when you need to speak. It's the tricks of the new Zoom world. So thank you very much once again. And item 2 on the agenda is the visitors' issues, privilege of the floor for this meeting of the Planning Committee. Are there any visitors on the line that wish to address the board at this time? Going once? Going twice? Hearing none, we move to our item 3, adoption of our prior meeting minutes of May 6th that were advanced or distributed by staff. Thank you very much. And both paper and digitally, and the website is outstanding with excellent access to all our CDTC and planning related issues. So the minutes are on the table. May I have a motion to adopt the minutes of May 6th? Are there any revisions or amendments suggested at this time? Just unmute and feel free to speak. Motion to adopt the minutes of May 6th.
I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes. Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Second,
I'll
Bob.
second it.
Very good. Moving right along. Are we ready to vote? Everybody comfortable voting on the minutes, which is our official record that is posted publicly and online? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any abstaining or opposed? Remember to unmute. Going once, going twice. Our first action item is done. Minutes are adopted. Is Mike Valentine on the line? He's excellent with typographic and grammatical and other declarative issues. Okay. That is adopted. So item 4, continuing with action items, is the running story ongoing with fiscal constraint of our tip summary table 4. And Michael will lead us on this. Mike, on item 4, fiscal constraint. Michael, you need to unmute. I don't hear you or see you. Who do I see?
Yes, I'm trying to do a couple things at once. Jen, I have to share a screen, and I think you have to allow it.
You should still be able to share the screen. At the bottom of your screen should be a green share screen button.
Yeah, it says host disabled, participant screen sharing.
Okay, can you try now?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm in. Okay, so I'm sharing screen. And I'm sharing a screen because the table that is in your package is an outdated table that was mistakenly included in the package. The up-to-date schedule is on the screen right now. And if you're looking at your screen, hopefully you'll see that in the first year of our 4-year tip, we are 3.3% over-programmed. In the second year, 2.3% under. In the third year, 0.1% under. And in the fourth year, 4.9% under. So the only issue is that we put the wrong table 4 in the package, and that the table on your screen is the latest, greatest, and accurate table 4. And you'll see that all of our percentages are under 5%. Any questions about that? If there are no questions, Steve, we can move on.
This is a voting item, Michael?
No, this is really information. We do put in the action items because we want to see it before we get to the tip amendments.
Let's see, FHWA is not on the line. Do you believe they will be deemed this satisfactory? We're within 5% goal in all years, right? 4.9.
Correct. Yep.
Fourth year, that's good. So this should be satisfactory from all prior FHWA discussions and coordination, right?
Correct.
Very good. Moving to item 5 on our agenda is the tip proposed amendments, which were distributed in advance, paper and digital. So we've got the CDTA, Regional Project 131, CTC 31, Bus Rapid Transit. It's not a policy board item. It is a cost decrease. On the increase line, it says minus 2.07 million. No offset required, not a change. Should these be grouped A and B or go separate A and B?
They can be, Steve, this is Ross. They can be grouped.
Very good. So the item 2 is the T125 Washington Western BRT. Go ahead, Ross. Please provide the executive summary, and we'll vote on these items together.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Steve. Hello, everyone. The actions today are related to the Washington Western BRT, which you may have seen that we were awarded from 60.9 million from the Small Starts program. The action today, though, is for work that would happen prior to a finalized grant agreement through the Small Starts program. And this is for preliminary work related to our Albany garage expansion. So a big issue and a reason why the overall Washington Western BRT is is roughly at $77 million is because of the fact that we don't have the space and means to actually house and maintain the buses under our existing facilities. And what we're going to do is expand our Albany garage onto sites that have that are currently employee parking. So if you've ever been at our facility, if you go behind the garage and to the side of the garage, there's parking mainly for our bus operators when they come in the morning. That parking would be relocated actually across the street to what is the Boakland building. It's a site right across the street that we are acquiring to relocate the parking. And then in addition, another site is to be able to secure our layover area in downtown Albany. So if you've ever been near the Greyhound station, you'll see that underneath the South Mall Arterial, there is a area where CDTA parks its buses. We can only keep our buses there during the daytime. We can't leave buses there overnight because it isn't a secure facility. So we're going to be including fencing, security gates, security cameras, etc., so that this can be an area where we can store buses overnight. And so what this action is for those two areas that sets us up to be able to construct the Albany bus garage, which ties back to Washington Western BRT. The reason why it is outside of the Small Starts project is, again, because this work has to happen in advance of the overall BRT line. And so that's why we're using the BRT set aside, where we're drawing down funds from the BRT set aside, which is RG 131, and then creating the new project, which is T 125. And so that's the overall summary, and willing to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Any questions for Ross? Thank you, Ross. Good overview. So this is a balanced action between the A and the B, and your descriptions are noted with the improvements to your garaging facilities. So it's really no cost change, right?
Nope, no overall impact. It's just moving money from the set aside and then creating a project from the set aside.
Any other members have comment or questions before we vote? Hearing none, motion to adopt items A and B. 5A and 5B. Thank you. Second by?
I'll second it.
Who is that? Second?
Chris Wallen.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Excellent. Good morning. All in favor, please say aye. Raise your hand. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Are any abstaining or opposed? Please speak now. And that action item is hereby resolved. Thank you for consensus. And we can move forward to item 6, Unified Planning Work Program. The CTC UPWP Progress Report for October 1st through March 31st of this year. And Michael's going to lead us on this. Mike?
Okay, I'm going to try and share the screen again. So give me just a couple seconds here and I will get to the screen. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yep, got it.
All right,
Yes,
thank you.
sir.
All right, so this is the document that's in your package. This is our semi-annual UPWP progress report. Every 6 months, we have to submit a progress report to the FHWA, DOT, and FTA. Usually when we do this, we just highlight the first couple pages, which is the summary of key accomplishments, which is on your screen. So a couple things I will go through very quickly. Some items of note. So the second bullet there, developing the UPWP for 2020 to 2022 was a major effort. Again, a staff effort. Everyone's involved in developing which tasks are included in the 2-year UPWP. I think it's a really good plan for the next 2 years, and it takes a lot of time from the staff. In the end, probably about 2 months worth of time. But so that was a major accomplishment. And I'm sure you're familiar with the third bullet there is the draft New Visions 2050 plan, another staff effort by everyone involved. We produced the first draft between October 1st and March 31st of this year. Let's see. On the fifth bullet, I just want to point out that it's really an important statement that we've made, and it is for a lot of reasons, but in the infrastructure planning in the New Visions, the second sentence there, where it says the principle of preserving and managing the region's transportation system continues to be CDTC's highest stated priority. But I just want to highlight that because we sometimes forget about all the other programs that preservation is really important. Preservation of the bridges and highway system is really important, and it is still the highest stated priority in New Visions. So just to point that out. On the second page, we talk about our regional operations and travelability, reliability. It's the second bullet down on the second page. This year, we updated our congestion management process. We're really proud of that. It fared very well in the FHWA, FTA certification. And on the third page, there's a couple items I'd like to point out. For the New Visions the process, we also developed, and this is the second bullet on the third plan, but we also developed a public participation strategy, and that had to be revised because of the coronavirus, but we are very active in providing virtual meetings. If you or your municipality or group would like a presentation, a virtual presentation, a Zoom presentation that summarizes the New Visions 2050, we're ready to go. We're more than glad to do it. Just send an email to myself or to Jen Saponis, and we'll schedule a virtual meeting with you for New Visions. And boy, there's a couple other things there. We updated our human services transportation plan, which is a very big effort, but we did that with our coordinating committee. And last but not least, one of the last bullets on the bottom, our traffic safety ambassador program has just been going really well. Every year we get really motivated people that do demonstration projects, bike rodeos, just a lot of great little projects. I say little, less expensive, but involving the community, really getting down to the community level. Really proud of that. And we did that last year, and we're doing it again this year. That's a quick summary of the UPWP. If you have any questions, I will certainly try to answer them.
Any questions from Michael on UPWP, and you want us to vote to adopt the update 6-month summary?
Yes, please.
Very good. Motion or any further discussion, questions for Michael? A lot of good work there. I will accept the motion to adopt the UPWP report. I'll move it. Second, please.
I'll second.
Randy, thank you. Good morning. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Good, thank you. Any abstaining or opposed? Give it a minute. Hearing none. Hereby adopted for the UPWP report. Item 7 is up next. Well, that was our last action item. Now we're into the discussion. Mike will lead us. Item 7, status of solicitations, and we've got several here. Thank you, Michael.
Yes, thanks, Steve. So you can see from the agenda, we have several, excuse me, solicitations for different projects. We are making some adjustments here. We are making some adjustments here, excuse me. To our schedule for solicitations. We know that all of our members and municipalities are very busy in this time with the pandemic, and we haven't seen, to be honest, we haven't seen all the applications that we would normally see. So on many of our solicitations, we're going to a rolling basis so that there is no time limit for or deadline for the applications. We'd like to give members plenty of time to submit as they deem necessary. So that's my only general comment. We have staff on the meeting they'll just quickly summarize each one of them. Sandy, would you start us off, please, with the tech assistance program?
Sure. So in the packet and on the website, we have simply changed, as Mike indicated, the original submission deadline to become a rolling deadline. We do have, even though we did fund a few projects in this program, we do have some additional monies available to fund more. All the criteria remain the same in terms of eligible initiatives. And we'll try to fund the worthy ones as they come in.
Any questions about the technical assistance program? If not, let's move on to Complete Streets. Chris Bauer, will you summarize that?
Sure. So similar to the Tech Assist program, we have the capacity to fund up to 3 Complete Streets workshops for this round. As of the deadline, we had received 1 application. We are moving to a rolling deadline again until we deem 3 total workshops worthy. We haven't reviewed any of them yet, so we have not awarded any yet. So there's still time. We did just receive another application this week, so we're up to 2. That doesn't mean that there's only space for 1 more, because we haven't really awarded those yet. So right now, there's still a lot of chance to be involved. And if anybody has any questions, let me know.
Okay, the next solicitation is the ADA transition plans. Chris, is that for you or for me to summarize? Chris Bauer. I can do it.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know about that.
Carrie is on vacation right now, Carrie Ward. She would normally be the one to summarize that. So let me call that up and share that on the screen. So we are again doing a rolling solicitation, rolling basis for this solicitation. We've had 1 application. We have hired Chase & Companies. Now, keep in mind, this is a consultant-led plan, and it's required for all municipalities, so that we are prepared to assist, in developing the self-analysis and transition plans for all of our municipalities. Again, rolling application, and great program. If you're interested, you could email myself or Carrie Ward in our staff. Last but not least is the trail feasibility solicitation. Jen, do you want to talk about that, please?
Sure. CDC has made up to $75,000 available for a consultant-led feasibility study to look at trails that have been recommended in the Capital District Trails Plan that was released in 2018, or 2019. The trails that feasibility study focus on must be the core trails or related to the core trails that are in the plan, and proposals are due August 7th. And if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email. But most of it can be, program description can be found from our website.
Okay, any questions about any of our solicitations? Okay, Steve, that's it for that item.
Okay, we ready to move forward?
Yes, please.
Any questions? I didn't hear any on the solicitations for those 4 key areas. Ready to move forward to item 8 on our agenda is the FHWA FTA in-person certification. Been a number of meetings and a lot of support demonstrated. Thank you all. Mike, you want to do your overview for our board on FHWA FTA certification?
Yes, this will be really quick. We concluded our certification process with a closeout meeting last week, where FTA and FHWA go over all the programs and kind of give us a summary of their aspect and their thoughts on certification. Just a quick summary. They're in the process now of writing up the report. We should see the report in a few weeks in a draft form, and then we will bring it to the planning committee for your information. So the certification did go very well. I guess what I'd like to say is just thank all the members for their input and for some of the very positive comments that the members made during their comment meeting, virtual comment meeting. So thank you for all your support. Staff is really great on this project again, and that's really all I need to say about the certification.
So thank you for all participants. Any questions for Mike on item 8? Hearing none. Moving forward to item 9 is the CDTC project delivery update. Mike and Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob, I don't have anything. Could you take it, please?
Yep. Thanks, Mike. So we've got a couple updates based on updates that we've received from consultants over the past month. Saratoga County project, Middle Line Road over Gordon Creek tributary. Letting was held in May. Schenectady County project, Highbridge Road over East Campbell Road sidewalk reconstruction. Construction was authorized in the month of May. Town of Charleston project, Peaceable Street over Morning Kill culvert replacement. Letting was also held in May. And the Village of Green Island Hudson Avenue reconstruction project was also held, letting was held in May. Next month, I'm going to be reaching out to the city of Rensselaer, Village of Voorheesville, and the town of Rotterdam for our CDTC monthly updates. And as always, request anybody, if you take a look at our project tracking spreadsheet that we have online under the planning committee meeting materials, take a look at that and feel free to provide us with any updates. You can send those directly to me or request the sheet from me as well. So always looking for additional updates or kind of any modifications to that sheet. We also have Adam Yagelski from East Greenbush to give us a few updates on the US 9 and 20 sidewalk project that he has going on right now. Adam?
Yes, thanks, Jacob, and thanks, everybody. Can I, Mike, Jen, is it possible to share my screen here?
You should be able to.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So just, I think this is the same figure that we shared back in, I forget when the last update was, but it's basically this green area is the project limits, installing sidewalks, drainage improvements, and other multimodal accommodations along this portion of US 9 and 20 from about Bruin Court and the Discovery Drive area down to the city line. I want to say it's about 2,500 feet. I should also mention too that Joe Semino of CHA is also on the line. The scope, as I mentioned, is install sidewalks, curbing, closed drainage. There's also some open drainage. There's a steep hill going up from west to east up to Discovery Drive area. As well as a bus shelter, which we're working with CDTA to install here. The project objectives, really the impetus was safety. There was a fatal crash, I believe in early 2017, might have been 2016, in this area here. So we got this project programmed and scoped. In addition, it's just part of the town's Complete Streets program. It's also part of our initiative to address multimodal accommodations along the corridor. I'll show you in a minute. It's part of the Albany Hudson Electric Trail alignment as well. And one thing to note that it is funded with generic environmental impact statement dollars, traffic mitigation funds. So this is essentially funded by development projects in town. Let me pull up so here's the Albany Hudson Electric Trail. And what you can see from the previous map and this map, and I'll get into the challenges in a minute, but there's a lot of stuff going on in this corridor. So one of the challenges is just to kind of keep stuff coordinated. But as you can see, the Albany Hudson Electric Trail, this is the pedestrian alignment. This sidewalk will fill a gap in the pedestrian alignment. Here's Bruin Court right here. A little bit of the way down to the south and east, the bicycle portion of the alignment actually diverts and goes on road up Sherwood Ave and on 151 toward the city of Rensselaer. So part of the objectives too is to complete this gap here in the Albany Hudson Electric Trail alignment. In terms of the current status, we got the most recent milestone was April 20th. We got design approval from US DOT and New York State DOT. And we are currently, we have a pre-PS&E package that the town is reviewing right now. We have construction slated for federal fiscal year 2021, so that's next year. We think we may, and this will probably depend on the review process, we may be able to let this this year and advance the construction because the design is basically wrapped up, but we need to work with DOT and US DOT on that after the town completes its internal review. In terms of the challenges, like I mentioned, one of the things early on was staff turnover, and so now that we're kind of the rubber's hit the road. As I mentioned, there's a lot going on here. So one of the things we identified early on is let's see if we can link up to the DOT projects. New York State DOT is they've been doing ADA compliance work up and down this corridor for the last couple of years, which is great. And they've actually, DOT has done some of the sidewalk rehabilitation that was actually in our original project area. So there's a real attention here also from private developers. As part of this separate DOT bridge project, sidewalks were brought in a portion of the project area on the other side of 9 and 20 on the west side up to the treatment plant. So there's just a lot of activity that we're trying to leverage opportunities to coordinate. Unfortunately, we weren't able to link construction of this project phase with DOT's ADA project, which we had explored with Greg and his colleagues to leverage efficiencies in terms of mobilization and also to minimize. I mean, the traffic impacts are probably fairly minimal if these are uncoordinated. And then one of the other things we're just working with CDTA to construct the foundation, the pad and the grading and such for the bus shelter. You know, we've worked out with CATA and DOT where that's going to go. So there's just an agreement that needs to be executed and all of that with, so just another step procedurally. I guess, Joe, do you want to add anything to that before we wrap this up? Speak now or forever. Joe, I think you may be on mute.
Sorry about that. With the full screen of your map, I couldn't find the unmute button, but then I minimized it and I found it. So yeah, good morning, everyone. This is Joe Cimino with CHA, and we've been assisting the town with this project for the last year and a half. And the only thing I would add is that, as Adam mentioned, that we do have what we feel is a full, we call it a pre-PS&E because obviously it requires reviews by the town and the state. But we have what we feel is a full package. And so if reviews go efficiently, there is no right of way, there are no utility work permits required. And so if the reviews can go swiftly, we feel there's still a good opportunity, as Adam mentioned, to construct this in the fall. It's not a big job. So I throw that out there as kind of a precursor to what may be a request, if possible. Adam and I were talking about this, to shift the construction back up into 1920, where it originally had been. I did notice earlier in the constraints table that 1920 was already overcommitted, so I don't know if that's even a possibility. But we're not there yet, so I don't want to speak for the town, but I don't think we're asking for that yet. We have to see how the reviews go. But there's not much left to do other than procedural items. So if all that can work out, it can be moved on, and if it can be moved on the tip, we feel our construction estimate is pretty close to the dollar values currently on the construction for the project. It's all very possible that this could happen, later this year. And that would be the goal, as Adam was mentioning, with regards to a lot of the trail work and the idea that a lot of the folks, involved with that trail system would like to see this as soon as possible. So anyway, with a lot of construction being delayed and held up this year due to COVID, this would be something that we think could be done this year. We just got to work with the department and the other folks, the other agencies, to just make it happen if we can. So that's all I would add, Adam. Thanks.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, and I should mention too that the Albany Hudson Electric Trail construction is ongoing right now in East Greenbush, and the complete trail should be open by I think it's November 15th is what the Greenway is targeting. So that'll be done this fall. So thanks, Jacob and Mike and everybody. That's what we've got.
Thank you, Adam and Joe. That was a great update, and certainly appreciate how thorough that was. So thanks again. That's all I have for that topic, Steve.
Great, thank you, Jacob. Adam and Joe, excellent overview, exciting trail improvement project for the Albany Hudson Electric Trail, etc. Next up on our agenda is item 10, DOT project delivery schedule. Is that Greg Wickshire or?
Yeah,
Greg, are you on?
Yeah, I'll speak to that.
Thank you.
While I'm going to share my screen here. Maybe there it is. While I'm sharing that, I did want to speak real quick to Joe's topic on the moving the project back up. We moved a lot of STIP projects out for the STIP performance business, and we made a commitment that if something was ready, we would move it back and we would balance the table accordingly. So don't worry about what you see there. The money would basically come with it is the notion. So
Okay,
ready?
great, thank you.
Yeah. So Adam and Joe, if you're ready, that is not a roadblock. So
Perfect.
Thanks, Greg.
The NISDOT project delivery, we used to report both, but since CDTC's for a long while now been doing the local project tracking, we're just going to provide our state projects within the area. So here's the list of projects. Above is things have been let to date so far. One of them was 28 days late. We're doing some bridge painting and other repairs to the twin bridges. It's with state funds, which is why you don't see it on the tip. Something sort of came up quick on us, so we jumped at it. And so, if you drive the twin bridges, you can see the base of the arches are, a little in need of some painting. So it's going to focus on that, some other little things the bridge needs. So that was let recently. Up above here, you can see that ADA compliance, the sidewalk job in East Greenbush that was let back in April and was awarded and is moving forward. Our region-wide PSAP project went out, second phase of it. Other than that, and I-90 over Fuller and Erie was rebid this couple weeks ago. And the bids came in a little high, but overall our bidding is still normal. The over-unders are still where they used to be, and we're actually seeing more bidders now than we have in the past. And then the bottom three projects are the ones coming up much later in the year. So any questions on this? All right, here, pass it along, Steve.
All right, thank you, Greg. Excellent overview. Sounds like you're in bird paradise out there. Feeding the birds. That's great.
I got to get a better mic. There's actually a robin right there.
Nice. I'm in the bird club. All right, thanks very much. Excellent overview. Good progress on all our projects. And it is a very favorable bidding climate. We've bid a lot of paving, mill and fill overlay on all our public parking areas, and I've seen similar results, more competition and better pricing all around. Next item up is our great networking opportunity with the status of planning activities throughout the region. First up is Transportation Committee, Mike.
Sure, very quickly, we're working on our virtual meetings for New Visions 2050, scheduling town halls and public meetings. And we're also starting our new linkage studies. So for the sponsors of linkage studies, we're working on drafting the MOUs and the project scopes. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Regional Planning Commission. Mark is on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to give a quick update on this year's technical assistance program. We are in the process of reaching out to project awardees. Projects have started in Westerlo, Clifton Park. We're having a kickoff meeting for Glenville in the coming week. So we're looking forward to getting those projects rolling, and really encouraged that we're going to a rolling application for the remainder of this project term. I think that's going to be helpful for many communities. The Trump administration just announced today that CDRPC received $400,000 in CARES Act funding to assist with recovery planning efforts. We will also be investing that money in mini grants to support local governments and others in recovery planning efforts, advancing some of our technical assistance programming, and also investing in technology that will help us better track sector recovery as we emerge from the pandemic. As a reminder, and thank you, Mike, for sharing this, CDRPC is the regional coordinator for the purposes of the Northern Border Regional Commission. This year's funding opportunity for economic infrastructure grants passed June 1st. But if you have any questions about the Northern Border Regional Commission, its programs, et cetera, please feel free to reach out to us. The Regional Indicators website is still up and running, so please feel free to visit capitalregionindicators.org and check out the more than 50 indicators for each city, town, and village and county in the region, and learn about those data points at your own discretion. We will continue to make investments in that indicators dashboard, working with our partners, the Capital Region Chamber and the Community Foundation throughout 2020. That's all I have. Thanks again for the support.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Excellent overview. I had one quick question on our U.S. Census every 10 years. You're a regional coordinator for that. How'd the mail count go in April and May, and what's coming up on the decennial census? How would it relate to
I know we
transportation funding?
A response rate of about 68% nationwide.
Very good.
That's the only update I have on the census.
Excellent. And that will affect our transportation funding going forward. Thank you.
Apparently it's still happening in the midst of everything. It's kind of hard to believe.
Remarkable.
So we'll see how it shapes. We'll see how it shakes out. Certainly unprecedented times for that to happen this year.
The census website has a population clock, and I would check that weekly as a good planner to see if it's slowed down at all. It counts one birth every 8 seconds, one death every 12 seconds, one immigrant every 46 seconds. The immigration never changed when we locked down our borders, and JFK and the international airports, O'Hare and others, Atlanta, have no flights. It's funny. Who's keeping the clock?
I can give you a summary of our region's population change.
Flat.
Like that.
Nice. Something to watch. As a planner at the high altitude, it affects everything, and our transportation funding especially. Thank you, Mark. Any other questions for Mark on regional planning? Federal issues? Here are none. We'll move to CDTA. Is Ross still on the line? Ross?
I am. Two things. First, on July 12th, CDTA is going to undergo another round of service changes. We've been making changes roughly every 3 or 4 weeks since the beginning of the pandemic to respond to changes in ridership levels. At first, ridership fell off from 55,000 rides per day to below 20,000, and now we're inching back up to about 35,000. And so we have a plan together to try to accommodate to the best of our ability 40,000 riders or more. That is going to lead to a number of our bus routes having a substantial increase in frequency. For example, the 905 Bus Plus, the Route 22, which also goes from Albany to Troy, and a few other routes are going to run every 7 or 8 minutes, which is very frequent for service in our region. Point for that is to try, again, to the best of our ability, to allow social distancing on our buses. At the same time, throughout this last few months, we have had to suspend services in areas where ridership was low before and then went to virtually nothing. And that, as everyone knows, that's usually in our lower density areas of the region. So really investing heavily where we see ridership growth coming back, where we need to social distance to the best we can, while reducing that overall geographic coverage. Where our service goes into the future, we have no idea. This is really the first time that we're being proactive rather than reactive. This is the first time we're putting out a service plan in advance of a projected ridership change, rather than just reacting. But where this goes, we don't know. The one thing we do know, though, on another topic, is the River BRT is still planned to begin service in November. The final phase of construction for site work is occurring now at a number of locations up and down the corridor. You'll start seeing the blue and silver shelters be installed actually this month, in July. Buses start arriving in August, and currently we're finishing the expansion of our Troy garage, which is where the BRT line, the blue line, will be operating from. This will be great for the region. Obviously, it's a project we will also allow more service on the BRT corridor, which is another one of these corridors where we're having overcrowding issues and where we need more social distancing. With that, that's my update. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Ross. Any questions for Ross on the regional bus CTA services? Hearing none. Next up is DOT. Greg, did you want to give a summary report?
Hey, Steve, it's Bob.
Bob
Things we
Wright,
want
good
to
morning.
talk about this morning. As Greg mentioned, the letting program continues to move forward. There is a couple statewide safety program initiatives that we may be coming forward with future tip amendments. There's a wrong way driving initiative, basically signage along the with access to limited access facilities and interstate facilities, some additional signing. There's been a identified safety issue with folks going the wrong way onto those facilities, as well as low bridge clearance. So whatever candidates get selected wouldn't involve local allocations, but we would certainly bring them forward to the group. We're finishing up the scope of services for our consultant solicitation related to the Pell study for the Troy Manans Bridge, the 378 over the Hudson. You know, I appreciate CDTC and Sandy's participation and comments in that. It's making our way through our contracts and consultant folks. Hopefully we see that out sooner than later, but would like to get that study going. As I assume most of you know, I mean, the current federal highway bill, the FAST Act, expires at the end of September. There's a House proposal out there called the INVEST, which is another acronym, Invest in America Act, a 4-year bill that wouldn't start until federal 22, not this September, the following September, and basically calls for another 1-year continuance, and it's interrelated to some COVID relief and other elements, and it still remains to be seen whether the Senate takes action on that bill or their own version. But yeah, it's good to see that it's at least being talked about now. So that's all I got this morning, Steve.
Oh, thank you, Bob. Good overview. And thank you for mentioning the federal legislation and process. Any questions for Bob at this point on DOT status of projects throughout the region? Hearing none. Is there anyone on from Thruway Authority? Michael?
Good morning. This is Tim Wainwright.
Tim, good morning.
Good morning. Just a quick update. The all electronic toll collection project continues to make progress. And I think one of the more significant projects we have as well as we're doing the bridge replacement on Old State Road between interchange 24 and 25. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer any. Thanks.
Any questions for Tim Wainwright, Thruway Authority? Hearing none. Who's next? The airport. Okay. All right. As a briefing, we're seeing slow recovery. Our normal here is about 5,000 passengers a day, and we're up around 1,400 passengers daily. Essential cargo is continuing. We're all essential staff, so the authority is fully staffed with CARES Act support and operations, maintenance, et cetera. We had a great DOT event. The governor's press office announced the successful completion of our $63.3 million modernization of the Albany International Airport on time, under budget. Installation of the new gateway sign is up on the County Highway 161, Albany Shaker Road. If you haven't seen it, it says, "Welcome to the Capital Region." So it's a nice regional wayfinding and place recognition program advancement for our region. So that was a press release on June 26th, just a couple days ago. Or last Friday, the gateway sign was actually erected. We had to close the highway and close the primary runway for a brief period during the day. I was personally involved with coordinating that FAA airspace closure. we could remain open on the crosswind with our current configuration. Similar to LaGuardia, it's a crosswind configuration here. So it's been an exciting week, and we're very grateful to the state's leadership and support for our regional gateway sign and airport terminal and parking garage improvements. So I don't mean to be long-winded. Travel advisory is the last thing I should mention. We're up to 16 states that all travelers from these states, including Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Idaho, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, Nevada, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Utah now, 16 states, including some very populous states, Florida and California, are required for mandatory, well, it's voluntary, 14-day quarantine. State health department staff are on site. It's a coordinated effort between the carrier staff circulating the state health flyers with the travel advisories, and coordinated across all agencies and carriers to try and get voluntary quarantine for travelers coming into Albany from these 16 states now as of yesterday. So that's a big change, and it's a heavy lift. But the good news side of it is, I understand all New England states and New York in our region are relaxing and seeing much improved trend analysis on confirmed cases, hospitalizations, et cetera. So that's affecting our regional economy in a big way, including intermodal transport. So open to any questions at this time. Anyone interested in anything we're doing? Check out the Gateway sign if you can. Travel Albany Shaker Road, just on the new exit 3. It's a great ride and nice improvement for our region. Over what is it, 100,000 trips per day in that area. So thank you. Who's next is the Port District follows us. Is Tony Vassal or anyone on from Port District? Lastly, in our update, I don't think we have Port District report. So
Don't, Steve.
thank you, Michael. Linkage and local planning. This is our opportunity for any local initiatives that wish to be heard at on the status of current transportation activities. Just speak up.
Steve, I forgot to mention that we started our local bridge study process, which we have done before, but this is a new update. We'll get a really good sense of what local bridges need for preservation and replacement projects. That's all I have.
Thank you, Michael. Last chance for any local initiatives. We're good on schedule. It's just 10:30 right now. Our last item to report are upcoming CETC meetings and events. As of now, we have a July 13th Regional Transportation Coordination Committee meeting on July 13th. July 14th is the Bike Ped Advisory Board, or committee, I should say. July 15th is a webinar on victim blaming and crash reporting. Sounds interesting. And our next meeting of this planning committee is Wednesday, August 5th at 9:30. Any other meetings to report before we close?
Steve, I have one question. A new attendee came into the meeting, M. Burns. M. Burns, could you identify yourself?
Oh, Michael Burns.
Good morning. It's Michael Burns, Town of Glenville, Economic Development and Planning.
Thank you, Michael. Just want to be sure.
You're welcome.
Did anyone else join the meeting that hasn't been recognized yet? It's a brave new world. Virtual meetings.
Yep.
Thank you for your support, cooperation, leadership with consensus. Ready to close, Mike? Motion to adjourn. Thank you, Bob Rice. Second by Andrew Kreshek. Thank you very much. Michael, what was that?
No, I thought Mark raised his hand also. That's
Okay.
fine.
All right. Thank you all. We'll see you August 5th. Stay safe and stay well. Thank you for your support. Good day.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.